a good stuff like River Dance.
Is my phone at 89?
Can you bring up the Facebook chat? River Dance. I'll put the Twitch chat on the screen.
Yeah. Is there a place I can plug this in to charge it?
Yeah. There should be just a right over there.
Yeah. Oh, dang, I said the stupid brick. I bricked.
You bricked on that decision.
Yeah, I did. Is that laptop plugged in? Nope. Dang, dude. I can probably plug it into the back of the TV.
Yep.
Yeah, I did. Is that laptop plugged in?
Yo, boy. Kill the sound.
Dang, dude. I can probably plug it into the back of the TV.
Alright, go ahead and give him a stomp while you're standing up.
Yo, boy.
Alright guys, welcome to Friday Night Magic here at Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming. I am Ryan O'Loughlin, and I will be joined by Wyatt Gehring in just a moment. He's off wandering around muttering about bricks. Down in the feature match tonight, we have Tim Scroggs on the right. He's playing Grixis Shadow versus Patrick Williams on the left. He's playing Lantern Control, which I was not aware when I made this decision. But okay, we have to live with the decisions we make, and that's what's going to happen.
I'm back. I'm Wyatt Gehring. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so Tim was on the play, Bloodstained pass. Patrick plays Land Inquisitions, and it looks like Tim is Thought Scouring in response.
Blooming Marsh. I guarantee Tim still has no idea what Pat's playing.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I would guess like some kind of Junder Obzon deck, but that doesn't seem like a very Patrick Williams thing to do.
No, considering we've been seeing Patrick Williams on Enduring Ideal the last.
So Tim reveals 2 Snapcaster Mage, Culligan's Command, Gurmag Angler at Fatal Push, and a Swamp. And he only... So that's a rough choice, because normally I would just say take the Snapcaster, but there's 2. And he also has Culligan's Command to get them back. So I guess you still just take one of them. But there's 2.
Shatter, buy back my
And he also has Culligan's Command to get them back.
Snapcaster Mage seems pretty good in this match.
Yeah, it does.
Shatter, buy I honestly... Snapcaster Mage. I have no idea. Like, I couldn't even say who I think would be even favored here. Well,
I don't know enough about this matchup personally.
I don't either. We have a turn to Gurmag Angler though,
which is
from
pretty.
Tim.
That's pretty strong. I don't know.
Well, it looks like he's not planning to buy back that Snapcaster Mage though.
No, I think if you start with a turn 2, I actually think that was turn 3. I think he missed a land drop, but still, like a Gurmag Angler that early on the play is probably strong enough that it's fine. And plus, he has the second Snapcaster anyway.
I don't think the. I think that was turn 2.
Yeah.
He had turn 1. He had turn 1 Steam Fence, turn 2 Swamp.
Okay.
I don't think the. I think that was turn 2.
Just bringing up the Facebook chat. We do have the Twitch chat and the Facebook chat up, guys. So if you're watching, feel free to chime in. And if we like what you have to say, we'll talk to you. No, that's not true. We'll talk to anybody.
We're lonely.
So we are. So Codex Shredder. So what does the Lantern Control deck try to do? What's the point of it?
Tries to control your draws a lot and make sure that what you're drawing is going to be something manageable.
What's the
like,
point of it?
Eventually Patrick will get Lantern of Insight, where both players play with their library revealed.
Yeah.
So then he can control whether he wants Tim to mill or not. He has 2 shredders now, so he can mill Tim 2 cards at a time, or like, you know, Tim has a land coming up, we'll let him draw a land. He doesn't need any more.
Right, and it uses cards like Ensnaring Bridge to kind of hold off the offensive.
Yep.
You just saw Tim blow up an Ensnaring Bridge with a Culligan's Command.
And not tap his mana.
He did that at the end of
at the end of Patrick's turn, okay.
Tim knows to tap mana.
And
everybody forgets. I forget. He did that at the end.
At the end of
Alright, so here's a second Ensnaring Bridge. So imagine we're going to see that Snapcaster try to flash back that Culligan's Command here on a turn soon.
Unfortunately, Tim didn't have a...
So imagine we're going to see that Snapcaster try to flash back that Culligan's Command.
Can't think of the card right now. Stubborn Denial.
Stubborn Denial, yeah. That very, very powerful card when you have a Gurmag Angler in play.
Or any of the creatures in Tim's deck in play.
Yeah.
Any of them are enough to...
So... Great Tasker, Death Shadow, like the only card that it doesn't. Is it 5 or more or 4 or more?
4.
It's 4. So everything except for Snapcaster Mage.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Does Fame give it +2/+0 as well? I think.
Yes.
Claim
You
could fame. You could
fame your
Snapcaster. Does Fame
Why'd you do that? To get in for 2. Okay, cast
and
this.
you get
Stub
to
it out.
and you get to snap something back at the same time.
I like it. Why'd you do that? To get in for 2. Okay. Tim has a bolt in hand. This game might be over quickly. He needs one more land to Snapcaster Kulgan, but then again he has 3 damage with the bolt and 2 damage with the Kulgan's command. To Snapcaster Kulgan, but then again he has 3 damage with the bolt. Those Codex Shredders sure do help with the Delph cards.
Yes, they do. I don't think Tim's really going to complain too much about that.
No.
Especially also with the Snapcaster in hand that Pat knows Tim has. It sets up anything for Tim, I feel like.
So I think Tim is now off the Snapcaster Flashback Kulgan's command. Now he's on Bolt, Snapcaster Bolt, Kulgan's command 2 to you. That's 8. So he just needs one more burn spell at that point.
And you turn Inquisition.
So he just needs one more. Actually, Tim has 2 Snapcasters in hand, so I think between the Bolt... No, he still needs one more burn spell. Tim has 2 Snapcasters in hand, so I think between...
Yeah, he has some Bolt like...
Bolt Snap Bolt is 6, and then the flashing back the Kulgan's command that's already in the graveyard is 8. So he needs to mill over another burn spell or draw one for that second Snapcaster to get him there. So he needs to, and Patrick's up to 10. That Inventor's Fair and now has Metalcraft. There's an Inquisition.
Tim responding with the Bolt.
Yep, and then he may just go ahead and Snapcaster here. Yep.
Tim responding with the Bolt.
Yep. So that's going to take him down, Patrick down to 5.
And then revealing the other Snapcaster, which is... And then
did Patrick take the
Thought Scour instead of...
That's interesting. It's a different choice. Alright, so here's Street Wraith.
Yeah, I feel like taking the Snapcaster would be a lot more, because if Tim just draws a Bolt here, that's game over.
Yeah, because Tim's path to victory here is burn. With 2 ensnaring bridges, Patrick may have him locked out of combat damage.
Yeah.
So he wins here by burn, so you probably just want to make him discard burn spells and Snapcaster mages.
Yeah.
But Patrick probably has a plan. Alright, up to 6. So he needs 2 burn spells now. Or he still needs 2 burn. One more and he'll need a 3rd one. Alright, up to 6. So he needs 2 burn spells now.
So Tim drew Serum Visions. Finds a Blood Crypt, and what's this other scry? I think it's a Stubborn Denial. This is other scry. It is. Finds a Blood Crypt, and what's this other scry? I think it's a Stubborn Denial. So it looks like I think Tim has a Street Wraith in hand, so I could be wrong on that, but he could cycle it. So it looks like I think Tim has a, depending on what Patrick tries to do, cycle it. I could be wrong on that, but he could cycle it.
Here's Abrupt Decay on
depending on what
range.
Patrick tries to do, cycle it. Should have Abrupt Decay his own Ensnaring Bridge.
Yeah, I mean that's probably better. Seems just right.
Should have Abrupt Decay his own Ensnaring Bridge.
Yeah, I mean that's probably.
There's a Death Shadow in Tim's hand now.
Yep. Doesn't do much with 2 Ensnaring Bridges in play.
Not at all, even as a 3/3.
Although I'd probably still play them out because Patrick.
Did you miss Pat's trigger last turn too?
I missed 2.
Not at all.
So Patrick doesn't know how many Kulgan's commands Tim plays. So if I were Tim, I'd probably play as if I had outs to these Ensnaring Bridges. Patrick doesn't know how many Kulgan's commands.
And he just played a Gear per Aether Grid.
If I were Tim, I'd probably play as if I had
well,
outs
looks like he's.
Ensnaring Bridges.
And he just played
a relatively fast clock when you have that many artifacts in play.
Oh, looks like he's. And none of your opponent's creatures can attack. That's 2, 4, 6. I don't know where I was at getting 2s, but that's 3 damage a turn. None of your opponent's at least.
Here's Tassagir that can use his ability to try and mill over some cards to help Tim find the burn spells he needs.
But it's likely Patrick will just give him like a fatal push.
Yeah. But he still has the Snapcaster, though, so if he mills over a lightning bolt, he can flash it back. The issue is that I think what might cause Tim to lose this game is that Inventor's Fair. Because every 3 turns, that's another lightning bolt Tim needs.
And he finally drew Lantern of Insight on Pat's side, Terminate on top.
I imagine he'll let him have that Terminate.
Yeah, I don't think he cares much if Tim gets this Terminate. On Pat's side, Terminate on top. For some reason, I thought Tim kept a Blood Crypt on top to draw. Unless it got milled over. It might have got milled over.
Yeah, I think that's what happened, yes.
Okay.
Alright, so is this damage off of Guildcore?
Yep, for 4 on Tim.
Down to 6. That's, yeah, like I said, it's a pretty quick clock. That Inventor's Fair might have won Patrick Williams this game. And
That's up to 9 now.
Yep, relatively quickly for the reputation this deck has. And
I mean, yeah, we're only 10 minutes in. It looks like we're going to be closing up soon.
Yeah. For the reputation this deck has. There's no way for Tim to cast 3 lightning bolts or blow up 2 ensnaring bridges here.
He's just going to cast some stuff. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's all cards that Patrick already knows Tim is going to have in his deck, so the only information he may be giving away is like numbers. I mean, it's all cards that Patrick already.
Well, it doesn't even matter because he's got the.
He's got him dead on Patrick's upkeep because he Aether Grids at the end of his turn, and then on his upkeep he does it again. It's just like the old Deathrite Shaman, drain you, untap, drain you. On Patrick's upkeep because he's down to 4.
Is Tim gonna reveal his own hand to a Thoughtseize? Aw.
I would probably just scoop in response to that, but yeah. All right, so we have Patrick Williams taking game 1 with Chromatic Lantern over Tim Scroggs, who is on Grixis Shadow. So we have Patrick Williams taking game 1. Interesting game 1. I was expecting a much longer game.
Well, I guess I can't be too shocked whenever he had 3 ensnaring bridges.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole lot of that card.
That's too many of that card. Well, I mean, one's too many of that card.
I gotta say, I don't think either of us are particular fans of that card. It's not among my favorites.
Well, I mean, one's too many of that card.
I gotta say, I don't think either of us are particular fans of that card. It's not among my favorites. Alright, we one moment, guys. We're just bringing up some imagery. While we're in between games here, I want to tell you about an FNM event that we are running next week, and I did not have my image ready to go, and I still don't because I lost where I saved it on the computer. There it is.
Amateur hour up here.
For sure. I love the technically a professional, but clearly is an amateur. So next week we are having a Pauper FNM. That's July the 28th, and that's at 6 o'clock. If you're unfamiliar with Pauper, it is commons only.
Which lists are we going to be going off of for the ban list here?
Probably be going off of the Magic Online ban list.
Okay.
Since it's a little bit, since it's established.
Yep.
We're trying out some new, more casual Friday Night Magic formats. Currently, we have a Chaos Draft going on downstairs, which was a pretty big success tonight. We have a lot of people out for it, and it seems like they're having a good amount of fun.
What was the hype around that one guy's 3-pack pick?
He pulled his 3 packs were Shadows over Innistrad, Modern Masters 2017, Eternal Masters.
Okay.
We had 2 other people pull Modern Masters 2017 and 1 other guy pull Eternal Masters.
Okay.
Not to mention a ton of both conspiracy sets. There's some cons block stuff. There's some good value.
Okay.
And then we had some people that were just like, Born of the Gods, favorite Forge, Journey.
I heard that.
And so unfortunate, but that's how Chaos Draft goes, you know. You win some, you lose some. In terms of the packs you pull and your match results. That's how Chaos Draft goes, you know.
I think the other important thing is, even if you got the 3 most expensive packs, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've got the best draft pool.
Yeah, I mean, like, opening a Tarmogoyf doesn't really give you a super powerful card in Limited.
No.
I mean, like, he's probably playable, but... Yeah, I mean, like, you still feel good. If you open a Tarmogoyf and go 0-3, you're okay.
Yeah. I mean, our one guy who's usually, doesn't come in super often, Yeah. I can't think of his name right now. Doesn't come in super often.
That one guy.
Shibley.
Yeah.
I did a draft for Shibley when Mario Masters 2017 came out, and he opened a foil Tarmogoyf, and it was the least enthused I've ever seen somebody about opening a foil Tarmogoyf. Like, literally, like, I opened a Marsh Flats and I was hype, and he was like, oh, I opened a foil Tarmogoyf. And, like, I was like, I didn't even hear him say foil, and I look up, and he, like, flips it over and it's just foil, and I'm like,
I mean, I guess the card is at the lowest value it's ever been, but still, that's a pretty nice card to pull out of a draft. I mean, I guess I pulled the last Modern Masters draft I did. I pulled a Snapcaster Mage and a Misty Rainforest, and I was pretty super stoked about that. Didn't play either.
I got my Marsh Flats, and I played tokens for that event.
Oh, I played Blue-White Blink and ended up not playing either of those cards.
I played a lot of tokens. I barely played any creatures, and then I had the Wayfaring Temple, so he could be real big. Then through the enchantment that gave lifelink in the set.
So it looks like both our players are looking at their 7s. I see a Leyline of Sanctity and Patrick Williams' hand, which could be very strong in this matchup. Yep, they're both going to keep. Leyline enters the battlefield before Tim's turn 1. I'm sure Tim is not particularly happy to see that. Grixis tends to have issues with enchantments.
Yeah, he can't, like, Kolaghan's Command doesn't have a mode to get rid of it.
Yep. And it means, like, if Patrick gets multiple ensnaring bridges on the battlefield again, Tim could be in real trouble. Alright, so here's Thoughtseize for Patrick. He's going to go down to 18 once that resolves. My scorekeeper.
Boom.
And Tim reveals Street Wraith, Stubborn Denial, Lightning Bolt, Thought Scour, Polluted Delta, Death Shadow. I don't know what you took here.
If Tim was on the play here, did Pat lead off on the Mox Opal or on the land?
I'm not sure.
So if he led off on the Mox Opal, I kind of feel like it could have been safe for Tim to just counter the Mox Opal.
Yeah.
Then he can't play Glimmer Void as his land per turn because he has no artifact.
Oh yeah, that would have been smart if you put your. If you're like real familiar with the deck list and you know Glimmer Void's important, that probably would have been a pretty heads up play. But that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
If you're like real familiar,
and it also matters if Pat played the land first, then that whole thing gets
right. And I'm not sure which order it went in.
Yeah. And it also matters if Pat played the land first.
That's a good thing to keep in mind for sure. Alright, so Tim is going to go ahead and shock into turn. I think we're seeing a Thought Scour here.
Because also Mox Opal's really important in this match too, and if you can counter that on turn 1.
Oh yeah, like Metalcraft, it seems like super important. You saw how good Inventor's Fair was in game 1.
Oh yeah, yep.
Alright, so Thought Scour targeting himself. Milled over, Scalding Tarn, and then that Ceremonious Rejection?
Yes.
Alright. And
he drew a Kolaghan's Command, it looks like.
And a Ceremonious Rejection, I think. Alright, so here we're going to go ahead and cycle. So Tim goes down to 15.
Yep. And then he can fetch Shock, go down to 12 and play a 1/1.
He can play 2. He has 2 Death Shadows.
I'd leave open 1 Ceremonious Rejection though.
Yeah, that's probably smart for ensnaring bridges.
Yep.
Alright, so down to 12.
He can play a turn 2. Ceremonious Rejection. Or, yeah, the turn 2.
Yeah, that's probably smart for ensnaring bridges. It'd be really good to be able to take care of 1 bridge without having to burn a Kolaghan's Command on it.
And Pat has a
It'd be really good to be able
to Colling's Bell. Yeah. Alright, so he doesn't have to worry about the ensnaring bridge yet, unless like he legend rules the Mox Opal. But
probably not.
No. Alright, so he doesn't have to worry about the ensnaring bridge yet. How many lands or how many artifacts do you need for Mox Opal to be online? 3. Alright, so he can't even tap the Mox Opal yet.
No, so he'd have to have another.
How many lands or how many
another card, another 0 mana artifact.
3.
Good.
Alright, so he can't even tap the Mox Opal yet.
No, he'd have to have another. Alright, so another card. Tim has his mana online. Probably safe to deploy that other Death Shadow now.
Yep.
Might have.
I also. Alright, he's gonna Son of Bolt it himself.
Yep, take him down to 9.
Yep.
So these puppies are gonna be 4/4s. He's gonna swing in for 4.
Son of Bolt it himself.
Yep, take him
Let's see. So that puts him there.
It just blows my mind that bolting yourself is sometimes the right play now. Like when people.
Wait a minute. Give me a sec to think. They're 4/4s.
It just blows my mind.
Because
that
it's 13 minus 9 now.
Like,
10,
when
Wait a
people...
minute. Give me a sec to think. They're 4/4s.
So
He actually has lethal next turn on. Ah, he surgicaled it. Tim would have lethal next turn on Pat.
Dang.
He could Kolaghan's Command, shock myself, buy back Street Wraith, cycle Street Wraith, both that shadows become 8/8s.
Oh, yeah, that would have been sweet.
And then kill you.
That would have been great. Tim still seems to be in a pretty good spot.
I think he's still fine.
Yeah, because he's got the ceremonious rejection up. He's got the Kolaghan's Command for any ensnaring bridges that come down. He's got 2 huge threats. Well, 2 good-sized threats.
I don't know. Some 4/4s seem fine.
Yeah, I mean, 4/4s against the empty board. Well, I like it.
I don't know. Oh, that would have been so sweet.
Yeah, I mean, 4/4s
here's
against
the
the
bell.
bell. There goes one bridge. That's got to feel great. When you're,
Okay.
when your lantern control opponent mills over their own ensnaring bridges blind, that's got to feel like a win. When your lantern control opponent mills over their own ensnaring bridges blind, that's got to feel like
Looks
a
like
win.
Patrick has some kind of play.
When your lantern control
He's
opponent
just-
mills over their own ensnaring bridges blind.
He can't tap that for mana. He can't tap the
Go ahead
Mox
and
Opal.
stomp and run on down there. That's an easy enough rewind.
He can't tap that for mana. He can't tap the
Go ahead and
Mox Opal.
stomp and
Mr.
run on down.
Gehring is going to run downstairs
easy
and
enough
rewind this for our players.
Easy enough to forget the. You can't always tap that
It's going to run downstairs and
Mox Opal for mana.
for our players.
Easy enough to forget the. You can't always tap that
Unless there is an artifact that we are missing. Seems like that may be the case.
unless there is an artifact that we are.
Perhaps no, I'm not sure. Okay, well, Wyden's getting this
Seems like that may be the
getting a
case.
slew. He's gonna run on up and let me know what's going on. Looks like the spell did resolve, so we'll figure it out here.
Getting a slew. He's gonna run on up. and let me know what's going on.
Oh,
tap it.
yeah.
But for improvise.
Artifact convoke-ish nonsense and whatnot.
Alright, it's all good. I literally looked at it and I was like, yo, you can't tap this for mana. And he's like, improvise. I'm like,
I'm not tapping it for mana. I'm tapping it to reduce the cost of this spell.
yo, you can't tap this for mana. And he's
What
like,
is that guy?
improvise. I'm like,
That's
Padeem.
Tapping it for mana. I'm tapping
he
it
does
to reduce the
stuff.
cost of this spell.
That's that guy.
It has to do with casting colorless spells. I think you draw cards.
He does stuff.
I could be wrong on that.
It's. I know there's something to do with artifacts and
do
you
with
cast
casting colors
and
as
you
well.
draw spells or draw.
Yep, I know that.
All right.
be wrong on
Yeah,
I know
it's
there's
coming. It's
something to do
coming.
with artifacts and you cast
Padeem, a console of innovation,
that.
3 and a blue for a 1/4 legendary creature, Vidalcan Artificer. Artifacts you control have hexproof. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control an artifact with the highest converted mana cost or tied for the highest converted mana cost, draw a
Draw a
card.
card. Yep.
Seems good.
Yep.
I
I remember that guy now.
Although that. Oh, I was gonna say that guy gives Tim a target for his burn spells, but he is a 1/4.
now.
Although that
Tim probably boarded out all of his fatal pushes because he could
Probably.
fatal push it.
he could. He knew to have revolt, but he could.
Tim probably.
All right, so
boarded
here's
out all of
stubborn
his fatal
denial
pushes.
on the
Because he
stir
could fatal
pot.
push it. Yep, I think that's a fine stubborn denial.
Yeah, that's fine.
And now the Mox Opal is online.
Yeah, and we have 2 lands on top of the libraries.
Yep, I think that's a fine stubborn denial.
Patrick's gonna let him have the blood
And
creeps.
now- That's game over right there, though, because Tim can shock down to 7, 6, 6. No, it's still not game.
Not quite. Alright, so Tim's at 7, which means
Or is Patrick at 14 or is he at 10?
he's at 10, might be.
Okay,
So that's
Yep,
game.
that is game.
Alright, so Tim ties it up. We're going to game 3 between Tim, the Scrog Dog, and Patrick. I don't have a nickname for you right at this moment, Williams.
ties it up.
Did Patrick have an untapped Ghoul Caller's spell?
I think he did.
He could have milled Tim the land and not taken lethal, I think. Because they'd have been 4/4s.
Yeah. There was a Bloodstained Mire under it, so they
I-
would have had the same result. But yes, he could have done that if he had an untapped thingamajigger.
Okay.
Ghoul Caller's Bell.
I would have had the same
Alright,
result.
so
Yes,
they're
he
tying
could
it up.
have
We're
done
going
that
to
if
game
he had
number
untapped.
3. I hear some kind of monkey walking up the steps. I will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. I have a judge call to answer.
A young Mr. Davis.
Some kind of monkey walking up the steps.
Spelled Y-U-N-G.
I will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. I have a
Oh,
judge
man.
call to answer.
Tag me in. Tag me in. All right, I'm in.
All right.
What are we doing?
We're commentating. Old Scrog Dog and Patrick Williams are going into Game 3.
Get it, Timmy. All right, I'm in. All right. What are we doing?
He got their Game 2.
Did he?
Yeah.
I believe.
Williams are going into Game 3.
Get it, Timmy.
If you could have heard the conversation beforehand with Jimmy,
Did he?
yeah, it was incredible. Jimmy and Tim. If you could have heard the conversation beforehand.
So we got Patrick shuffling up. That is a big deck. How many cards you got in that thing?
Jimmy and Tim. 60 double sleeve. Although I do know he freshly sleeved it today. He just finished it for this week.
Yep.
So.
How many cards you got in that thing? Look at Patrick putting his mojo
Although I
on
do know he
the
freshly sleeved it
spin down.
on the big D20s. I'm surprised this game though. Ryan and I were talking is they're going to Game 3 and they still have half the time left. Usually the deck that Patrick's playing takes way longer. Takes like they're going to Game 3 and they still have half. Could take like 30 to 40 minutes in Game 1.
For one game?
Yeah.
Wow. What's it called?
Lantern Control.
Lantern, like Green Lantern?
Could take sure.
We'll go with that.
There's no green in it, but sorry, yes there
That-
is. There
what?
is. There is an Ancient Stirrings.
I was gonna call shenanigans. Well, if there's no like, it should be an abundance of green.
There's no green in it, but sorry, yes there is.
Leprechaun. Lots of
There is-
leprechauns.
There is an Ancient
Four-leaf
Stirrings.
clovers. Gonna call shenanigans. Well, if there's no
Patrick starting with a turn 0 Leyline of Sanctity. And there's the green card.
Yes. All right, I'm rooting for Patrick.
And he found a lantern off of it. I don't know if he's gonna put that in his hand, but he found one.
So what does the lantern do?
Lantern says that both players play with their library revealed, and then it does something else I do believe, but my phone is currently plugged into the TV to charge. I was at like 20%. I couldn't help it. I was at the gym earlier and wanted to watch TV. Like, luckily they have Wi-Fi at the gym near my house, so like I was able to like get
Link some
on
Wi-Fi.
Netflix.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right, I know this is gonna break everybody's heart, but Ron's back.
All right.
We can see it.
Later,
you wanna
young
do this for
Davis.
the night?
Young Dave.
That's right. I let you do it once, and you never allowed to again. I think your drafters are about ready.
Young Dave. Did he
I
have no
let you
idea
do
what was
it
going
once,
on
and you
half the
never
time?
allowed to again. I think your
Boy.
drafters are about ready.
Alright, so what's up?
Alright, so we had Pat starting on the turn 0 ley line into turn 1 Ancient Stirrings. I was too busy talking to Ron to figure out what he got. I do know he found a lantern and insight off of
Colorless
it.
card.
Yep.
It doesn't look like there's a ton of action. I do see he has another ley line. That's pretty good.
Well, Tim's on the old beatdown plan. I think Patrick also has an Ensnaring Bridge in hand. I thought I saw one.
Usually, like typically, the only card Grixis decks sometimes have to answer a ley line is Cryptic Command, which is not something the Grixis Shadowless typically play.
No.
I mean, I think I've seen it before, but it's not usual. Especially like that triple blue and 4 mana. It seems rough. I mean, I think I've seen it before, but it's not.
Tim's got 2 shadows now in his hand.
Like that
Another fetch land. Is that a 3rd shadow on the far left of his
I
hand?
think so.
Tim's got 2
I mean, he can assemble a beat. If he's got like some street rates or something to take his life total down a lot, he can assemble a quick clock.
Yeah, he can fetch stock now, go to 14.
If he's got like does he have like a stubborn denial or ceremonious rejection that he needs to hold up?
That I couldn't tell, because I think he's holding on to like a full 6 or 7 still right now. I do know he has 2 Death Shadows, that's about now, and for some reason I could have sworn I thought I saw a Liliana of the Veil too.
Speaking of which, I just got word that somebody opened a Liliana of the Veil in our Chaos draft, so that's pretty sweet.
Tim starting off with a Visions that looks like that may be a Street Wraith on top. Which seems bad because Patrick can just mill it over at the end of turn.
It's unfortunate.
Yep.
Maybe there'll be another one under it.
Which
There's
seems
one
bad
Street
'cause
Wraith down.
Patrick can just mill it over.
That's not like Patrick even plays Swamps. Actually, I think
there'll be
he does
another
play
one under
2
it.
Swamps.
I feel like if I were Tim, if I wanted the Street Wraith,
That's not like Patrick.
oh, there's the Stubborn Denial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I wanted the Street Wraith, put the other card they milled to the bottom,
Yeah.
or put to the bottom, just leave it on top of the Street Wraith because you know Patrick's gonna mill you for 1.
Oh, yeah.
He could mill again, you know, but might as well make him use it twice to get the same effect.
Yep.
He could
Alright,
mill
so
again.
he's Scalding Tarn. He's going to go ahead and take himself down to 11, which means these Deathrite Shamans Death Shadows are now castable. They are 2/2s.
The Deathrite Shamans are also castable, but we'd have to give.
We'd have to DQ him, which sucks.
Or you just make him swap them out for basic lands.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a game loss, so he'd lose this round, and then make him swap for islands or whatever.
Sucks. Or you just make him
feel
swap
dirty.
planes.
Ugh. I feel dirty saying switch a Deathrite Shaman for an island.
I feel worse saying switch it for a plane.
Yeah, probably. Alright, so one Death Shadow and a Gurmag Angler. Alright, so that's a 2-turn clock right there.
I feel worse saying switch it for a plane.
Yeah, probably. Alright, so
Yep.
have to, if he has a Call Guns command or if he's able to hold up another counter spell for any ensnaring bridges.
Which it looks like he's going to. Even if he looks like he has another Stubborn Denial in hand.
Which is now live thanks to the Gurmag Angler.
And Patrick just drew another ensnaring bridge.
And
looks like he has
deploy.
Denied.
Tim is real stubborn about letting these bridges
Patrick
resolve.
just drew another. I can't blame him.
Yeah. Patrick did get
He's been
ensnared
swiftly
in that trap.
He's been swiftly denied twice now.
Oh. He got maybe later.
I can't blame him.
Patrick did
get and Tim's sitting on a Snapcaster in hand, so he can always snap deny too.
Yeah, that might be game right there. Alright, so Tim is down to 8, which makes this guy a 5/5.
Which means he's bashing for 10.
Yeah, which doesn't change the clock. Or it does change the clock.
If Pat gets one more land online, though, he's going to start gaining one more off of the Inventor's Fair again.
Right.
If he gets one more artifact down, he's going to.
He needs
or
2
more.
2 more, yeah.
Off of the Inventor's Fair again.
Right. Alright, so here's N for 10. Patrick's down to 10. Dead on board.
2 more.
2 more, yeah.
Death Shadow, and then hold up the.
Alright, so here's N for 10.
Yep.
Patrick's down to 10. Dead on board. 2 more, yeah. Big draw step. It's a Mox Opal, so one more and he has Metalcraft gain a life, but that won't matter.
That won't matter if he's dead on.
Yeah, is that Battle of the Bridge in his hand?
It looks like it, and he's going to tap out for it.
Yeah.
And Tim's just going to snap.
Stubborn Denial, and that's the
That's
match
the
right
game.
there. Alright, Tim Scroggs on Death Shadow takes this one 2-1 over Patrick Williams. We have 20-ish minutes left in the round. We're going to hop downstairs and see if we can get you a second match. If not, we will be back here for round 2. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be right back.
Yo, boy. I wish I'd have. If my phone wasn't on charge right now, I could have had the air horn for that last Stubborn Denial, too.
We'll have it for later rounds.
We will.
Alright,
Whenever he eventually gets Sean Carroll on here. All right.
Welcome back to Friday Night Magic here at Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming. We have Brandon Sheets on the left. He's playing Obzon midrange versus Marvin Carr on the right. He's playing blue-black turns.
Back to Friday Night Magic.
So, Wyatt, blue-black turns. What's the black for? I know what the
Fatal.
blue's for.
What's the one reason why people have been splashing black since Aether Revolt came out?
So, Wyatt, blue-black
Fatal
turns.
push.
Yep.
What's the black?
That is the only black cards I've seen in Marvin's
Not even
deck.
Thoughtseize or
Maybe, I mean, I just barely stepped behind Marvin to see him playing.
uh-huh.
I didn't see Thoughtseize was wearing positions. I literally only saw Fatal Pushes.
Okay.
Let me go get my phone just now.
Brandon is going to start with fetch into a forest and play Birds of Paradise. Not a typical choice in the mid-range deck, but he may be playing that as a budget option over a Noble Hierarch.
I think so. I don't know, though, because, I mean, Brandon does have all his Tarmogoyfs with Lilianas and all that, too.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the thing about, like, Tarmogoyf is when you pay that much for a Tarmogoyf, you feel like, okay, well, I'm buying a Tarmogoyf. When you pay the price that Noble Hierarch's currently at, you're like, do I really need to pay this much for a Manador? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. All right, here's Grimflayer on turn 2, along with the Stirring Wildwood. Marvin on his first turn played Serum Vision off of a beautiful Lorwyn foil island. Highly.
all of his islands match.
Oh boy.
They're all foil
Oh
Lorwyn.
my.
His entire deck is foil.
Nice.
I was inspecting it earlier.
Very nice. Very nice.
All of his
Need
islands
the-
match. They're
Need the
all
Borat
foil.
gif on the
His
screen.
entire
Very
deck-
nice.
I think he even I think was Time Warp a Judge promo.
Yes.
He has Judge promo Time Warps.
Very nice.
Like, I think he even
Alright, so Grimflayer is going to be a fast clock, relatively, and it'll give him some filtering to help find some disruption once Brandon pinpoints what Marvin's on. But right now, it's like it's hard to say. Like, all you've seen is Island, Drowned Catacombs, Serum Visions. I wouldn't be sure what my opponent's playing.
I honestly at this point would be like thinking Grixis Delver.
Yeah, something
Or
like
that's
that.
Drowned Catacombs, not a watery grave.
Yeah, but it could be like a budget option for somebody who's still building or something like that. Alright, so here's Fatal Push on the Grimflayer and Lingering Souls for Brandon. It's gonna give him 2/1/1
Spirit tokens with flying.
Well, they're so fly. They're pretty fly for a white.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Good. All right. That's the battle land, the Tango land, right? Drowned,
Took the words right out of my mouth.
sunken hollow.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's just got all of the black duels.
That one will actually enter tapped, correct? Because Marvin only has.
Sunken. It might not be. It might be.
Maybe
a
it's a
fetch.
watery grave?
It's a fetch.
Oh, it's a fetch. Okay. I'm not sure which fetch land that is. That one will actually enter tapped. Marvin only has.
I'm not either. I would assume
Maybe it's a watery
blue
grave?
black.
Yeah.
Polluted Delta,
I don't
maybe?
think that's Delta. Maybe it's
No.
Delta.
Well, we'll find out here if he cracks it. These expeditions are beautiful, but they're terrible on camera.
I
don't think that's.
what's the blue black filter land?
We'll find out here. Treasure. These expeditions are beautiful.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
know
That
what you're
could
talking
be. It
about.
could be
Yeah,
that
yeah.
too.
It could be that.
What's the blue black filter?
All right, here's in for 2, taking Marvin down to 18, and here's a Tarmogoyf.
Brandon's at 18. You know what I'm talking
Yeah, I know
about.
what you're talking about.
It could be that
It
too.
could be.
Boom.
So we've got a pretty fast clock here.
Tarmogoyf, instant sorcery land.
Yeah, there's the marsh flats right here.
Yep, I see that.
All right, so that is a fetch land. Marvin's
Yep.
gonna fall down to 17.
It's
gonna grab another island. Yeah, there's the marsh flats right here.
Yep,
No need to get shock lands. Marvin's gonna fall down. With such a light black splash.
Yep.
Gonna grab another
Although I kind of like the idea.
of just getting them so you don't draw them.
Well, no, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say just holding open the fetch land.
Yeah.
If he's playing Fatal Push, might as well hold it open for Revolt, or if he wants to play. Okay.
Right. Oh, but he needs to cast this Dictate of Crufix at the end of Brandon's turn. So Marvin's gonna draw 2, and unlike Howling Mine, since this puppy has flash, you get to be the first one who draws 2 off of it.
I mean, he has the foil Howling Mines in here too.
Marvin's gonna draw 2.
Was that a
Unlike
game day
Howling Mine,
promo?
since this puppy has flash,
Which one? The Dictate?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Journey in the next game, top 8 promo.
Yep.
Alright, so here's Serum Visions. I say top bottom. What do you say? Call it.
Put me on spot double top.
Okay.
Both on top.
Alright, come on.
Dang.
Yeah, alright, I got it. Serum Vision count 1 for Ryan.
I didn't know we were doing that.
I usually do that. Okay.
It's the war.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Got it.
I beat Kurt every
Serum
time.
vision count 1.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh, little shade at Kurt and I all the way up in New York.
All right.
All right, so Brandon's in for 6.
Oh. He's got that 4-5 turn relief.
This is a 3-turn clock.
I think he has an abrupt decay in hand, which he'll probably. Or is that he's gonna use another souls? Okay.
Yeah.
And then he could have.
He could have another land. He may have.
Well, he has the
Oh,
bird.
he has the bird.
Yep. Which I feel like abrupt decaying the dictate seems fine.
Yeah, you're not going to have a lot of targets, and it's going to slow Marvin down. He has to.
He casts another one.
Which
I feel like you have to get rid of.
Yeah, I
one
probably
now.
would. Like, you just got to cast your spells, and you don't have a lot of targets, and you got to slow them down however you can, especially since you have it.
And any of his permanents that Marvin draws.
It's a miracle!
All right, but any of the permanents that Marvin draws are just going to be able to be abrupt decayed.
Yeah.
Although I do like, I hadn't even thought of this. Since Marvin's main win condition in this deck
Yeah.
is by playing although I do like his counters on Part the Water Veil to turn one of his creatures or one of his lands into a creature.
Yep.
If Brandon just draws a Fatal Push, he can Fatal Push that land.
That's really strong, yeah. Alright, so Marvin has cast 2 take an extra turn cards in that one turn, so he will have another turn after this one.
Another one.
Yeah.
He can Fatal Push that land.
And that's really strong.
What was his other take an extra turn card?
This is the weird one, the Shadowmoor one, I think. It's this card right here.
The Super Glared.
Yeah.
What was his other
Super
take
Blade.
an
Alright,
extra
there's Talon. Classic.
You know what would have been the greatest extra turn card ever? If they did Caffeinated Celeste Sand, and instead of gaining control, it was literally you take an extra turn, and then your stuff doesn't untap.
That would have been maybe a little too good, but yeah. Like, how much does that card cost? Like 3, 4?
4.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be alright.
Stuff doesn't untap.
That might actually just be unplayable in the modern version.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, down to 9.
Would strictly be Commander.
Yeah, which is fine because we need more take an extra turn cards than Commander.
Yes, we do.
Alright, so here's Marvin's last turn. All he did was cast Howling Mine on that previous turn, but now he gets to draw 3. And there's a
Time Warp.
Blink Moth Nexus. That's an interesting choice. I've never seen that played in this deck.
Is that that's Blink Moth, not
Yeah.
Ink Moth.
Or Ink Moth, no.
Okay, it is Ink Moth. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems fine right now. He can put all his counters on.
Yeah, on that,
On
make it a faster clock, yeah.
Well, yeah, if he just casts.
I mean, it seems fine
right now. He can put all his. Now we're gonna get to it.
So we're still +1 on turns.
Well, yeah. But if he Part the Water Veils twice on it, it'll literally kill you.
Yeah.
Or just once. I mean, it doesn't matter.
You're right. Still +1 on turns. And even so, like if he keeps drawing turn cards and he just gets to keep attacking.
He gets 2 attacks in.
Yeah.
Brandon's completely tapped out. Here comes another Time Warp.
And he must have something else to do because he tapped that Nexus instead of attacking.
Brandon's completely
Alright,
tapped out.
still +1.
Here comes another Time Warp.
So he's discarding Island to turn. And he's going to draw 3 cards for his turn. I think this is his 5th turn in a row, I believe, maybe 6th.
Now he's Part the Water Veiling.
Yeah, he's going to use Awaken on the Ink Moth Nexus. It's a good tech, I like it.
Yep.
How many counters is it?
6.
Ooh.
So it's gonna be a 7/7.
Yeah, so
coming
it's a
in.
turn,
It's
2 turn clock. Yeah.
Yep.
It's good tech. Which he'll definitely get. He'll definitely get to attack once.
6.
Ooh. There's a good chance it's going to get to attack a second time. But I definitely see what you're talking about. Fatal Push seems to be really strong in this matchup.
Yep. And I don't think there are any mainboard counter spells in Marvin Carr's deck.
We need to get an Infect counter in our feature match area. And that should be game right there. Alright, yeah, so Marvin Carr is going to take game 1 over Brandon Sheets off of the back of an Ink Moth Nexus and blue-black turns. I would not have guessed I would say those words in that order.
I like the Ink Moth Nexus a lot in here.
Yeah, that seems great.
I don't. I mean, I don't really keep up with the turns list because
Me neither.
it's not like it's a common deck.
Didn't it do really well at the Vegas Modern Grand Prix?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember people were talking about it, feeling Longmore was
tweeting like constantly about it. It was a thing. All right, well, we have our players sideboarding. Since we don't have their lists, and you really don't want to hear us speculate about how this goes, you know, Brandon's going to bring in some discard spells and whatnot. We're going to talk to you about another event we have coming up here at the end of August. It is the Four Horsemen Eternal Festival. It is our own take on Eternal Weekend. It's going to be 3 days of Eternal Magic events, August 25th through the 27th. First day on Friday, we're going to have 2 F&M style events. One will be our regular Modern at 6:30. But before that at 6, we're going to have a Friday night Proxy Legacy, which I know a lot of people are excited for, but not as excited as they are for our Day 2 main event, the Four Horsemen Team Eternal Championships. Now, I would ask you, Wyatt, to tell me what Team Eternal is, but you don't know because I made it up. It is team constructed, but you drop the standard and you add vintage.
I can get behind this. So, I've already discussed it with the team. We're going to try to run it back a third time.
Are you going to be the vintage guy?
No.
Is Kazu's going to be the vintage guy?
Kazu will be our vintage guy.
Surely not Jimmy. No
We
offense, Jimmy.
We did joke around about putting Jimmy on vintage.
Well, I mean, you could just like put him on vintage, and then it's like you and Kazu have to win. Surely not Jimmy. No offense, Jimmy.
We did joke around about putting. We were talking about, since it's Proxy Legacy, what we could do for that, and we're like, well, we should, play a different deck. Maybe play a different deck than what we would normally play.
Yeah.
And he was like, what if you just proxied all of Elves? Which, funny enough for our viewers at home, between Kazu and my teammate and I, we have an entire foil Elves deck minus Gaia's Cradles.
Yeah, I mean, those are just a wee bit expensive.
So I kind of wanted just in color to print out all the proxies, but also print out the foil version that you can get offline with the weird coloring and play that as the Legacy deck.
What if one of you played Elves in Legacy, one of you played Elves in Vintage, and one of you played all proxies, and the other one played all foils?
I don't even know what we're gonna play. We're trying to figure out what our vintage should be.
I think that's gonna be a hard decision. Their metagame seems to be in kind of a loopy place at the moment.
I think the big thing that Kazu and I were talking about is especially because it's not a super common format. I think if you pick a deck, feel comfortable with it, and can go out there and feel comfortable with how the deck's supposed to be played, you should be able.
Yeah, I'd say most Eternal formats. That's what I always tell people about Legacy. Metagaming and it's important, and it's good to have a well-placed deck. But it's definitely more important to know your deck, because Legacy and Vintage are huge formats with tons of interactions, and it's just better to know the interactions that your cards have with other cards.
Yes.
Because even if your deck is quote unquote tier 2, I'd rather play a tier 2 deck I know than a tier 1 deck I don't know.
Between everybody on our team, especially, since we can proxy, but unproxied, we have. I don't know if Kazu still has everything yet for a Lauren. We have a Lauren, Elves. I don't think we have Food Chain, Death and Taxes, Ant.
Yep.
Probably Test. Has everything yet for a Lauren.
Usually they're just a handful of cards difference.
And a couple lands different. Yeah. And between our team, we could have just about anything.
All right, we have some other events going on during the Four Horsemen Festival. We'll touch on those later in the broadcast. Right now, we're back in the match. Brandon Sheets is on the play, and he's going to fetch Shock. We're going to see, I would imagine, a Thoughtseize or an Inquisition here.
I would think Inquisition. I'm going to go with Inquisition.
Usually you lead on Inquisition because, obviously, those are the cards that are more likely to cast on turn 1. And then you save the Thoughtseize for the following turns.
Yep.
Usually you lead on
Inquisition.
Yep. All right.
Andy has a Thoughtseize.
So Marvin is going to reveal Flooded Strand Island, Snapcaster Mage, Dictate of Krufix, Time Warp, Temple Mastery, and the other take an extra turn card that I just can't seem to remember the name of. Is it Saber of the Moment?
I don't think so, because I played one of my commander decks played every card in it that said take an extra turn.
Oh.
And
bad man.
It was fun. Getting to alright, I found my Palinchron, I'm gonna High Tide, I win. Infinite Storm.
And did it.
It was fun. But Brandon is gonna opt to take the Snapcaster, which is generic, almost always the best option. Brandon has a Path Exile in hand.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, if you Thoughtseize somebody and have a Snapcaster Mage, that's the card to pick.
I don't know how I feel about playing the turn 2 Thoughtseize though. You know he's not going to be able to play any of his turn cards on turn 2. Anything relevant, unless he draws like a Howling Mine. Howling Mine's 2, not 3, right?
Right, it's 2.
Okay. So like, unless you drew a Howling Mine, but I still don't know.
It's possible that that's just the order he needed to cast his spells to be efficient in his hand.
True. So like, unless you drew a Howling Mine,
Path Exile seems pretty decent against Inkmoth Nexus as well.
I also looked online. Channel Fireball put a list up from the list from Grand Prix Vegas, and it played one of Inkmoth Nexus.
Okay.
Which I guess if you're digging through your deck, it's not hard to find that one of.
Yeah, for sure. And even if you don't have it, you still can smash face with just
A
an
6/6.
island. Yeah, exactly.
Which I guess if you're digging through your
pretty
deck,
fast
it's not
clock.
hard to find that one. Yeah.
Alright, so looks like Serum Visions was the draw for Mr. Carr.
A 6/6.
Top.
Top bottom. Yeah.
Come on, Marvin. I want to be 2-0. Come on.
Bottom.
Alright. So I am 101. Alright, it's Flooded Strand and kicks it back. I know that expedition. I know.
I do, because that one's gorgeous.
Yeah,
That's
it's real nice.
Oh.
There's,
these 3.
yeah, if he has
Howling
that many
Mine.
discard spells.
I
I know that expedition. I don't know.
I feel like I take out the.
It's hard to say because if you take the turn spells, then he's just going to draw more cards with his enchantments and artifacts. But if you take those, then he already has the. It's rough.
I feel like I take the. I would have much rather taken the Dictate, so that it can't be flashed in, so Martin doesn't get the 2-card advantage on you.
Yeah.
It leaves open Martin with 1 more mana at the time, but like.
It was definitely a hard one. Also, like taking the Dictate might be relevant for your Tarmogoyf.
It leaves open
Yeah.
Martin with 1 more Yep. mana at the time, but like.
Alright, so
Because
updating
not-
life totals brain sheets is at 13 thanks to those 2 thought seizes. Thought sizes. Thought seizes.
Yeah.
I don't know what the plural is for seizes. And Martin is at so updating life totals brain sheets is at 13 thanks to those 2.
Alright, and we have Brandon taking himself down lower. I'm going to say probably to 12. I don't see him shocking.
Yep. The Obzon deck usually just looks to get double black, and then after that, it's not. If it has all 3 colors and double black, it's usually not worried about whatever else, unless you have a Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah. Which Scavenging Ooze doesn't seem to do anything here.
I guess it counters Snapcaster Mages, but I don't. If you're at the point where there's Snapcastering their take the turn spells, you probably lost anyway.
Probably.
Alright, so Liliana seems good. Up to 4. Brandon's going to discard Path to Exile. Marvin will discard a Temporal Mastery.
Unless Brandon has another way to deal with a creature, I don't know how I feel about discarding a Path to Exile here.
He may have another removal spell, or maybe he feels like he has so much removal in his deck that he's going to draw another one, especially with these
Drawing.
effects. Yeah. So Inquisition, draw 2 more.
Yep.
One more. He drew a
Drew
path.
a path, okay, and a Lingering Souls.
Okay.
So,
Draw another one, especially with these effects. Yeah. Gonna start with Inquisition. Yeah, that's unfortunate. He drew a path 2 times.
well, he can discard it with Liliana.
Yeah, that's true. Discard one of them. And actually, Marvin still needs another land. Granted, he's going to draw 3 cards, but...
Oh, first I was thinking Thoughtseize, but alright, so he's going to be able to Time Warp next turn.
And actually, Marvin still needs... Alright, so flashback Lingering Souls.
The worst thing, like, I feel like for Brandon sitting here right now, like, the worst thing is knowing it's potentially, like, your opponent could potentially just go off on this turn.
Yeah.
And I say go off like it's a combo deck, but it does that.
I mean, it is... I'd say it's a combo deck. It's very non-interactive.
I think you just drew another Time Warp. And I say go
So
off.
it's
And
ki-
the Ink Moth.
It's sort of like Storm and Elves, where it's like a combo deck that needs a cumulative amount of cards rather than just 2 cards.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's sort of like Storm.
And like I did watch Marvin play against Sean last. Not really, I could say that I watched him play, but I watched the end of his one game, and like Marvin was in the middle, like took like 5 turns in a row, and then just did not draw an extra turn card.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. Like Caleb used to play this deck a lot, and that happened to him
And
sometimes
like
when I was
Marvin was
watching.
in the middle, like took like 5 turns in a row, and then just did not. And did Marvin hit that
I've
point?
seen that happen. Like
So I try to Inquisition.
Can you imagine if this deck had Ponder and Preordain? It's pretty nasty.
That's what we should play for No Banless Modern.
Oh yeah. I think you take the path here because that abrupt decay will not kill your Inkmoth Nexus. Pretty nasty.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Nor will the Maelstrom Pulse, obviously. I think you take the path here because that abrupt decay will not kill your Inkmoth Nexus. All right, he's gonna take the Pulse.
No, does Pulse says non-land. It says non-land permanent, right?
It's also a sorcery, yeah.
Well, no, because if he puts counters on it, it automatically makes Inkmoth into a creature.
But it's still a land.
It's still a land, but I had to make sure that.
Yeah,
that
Pulse says non-land.
Okay, that's why I had to make sure of. Like sorcery speed, kill spells could still destroy
Could
it.
still destroy it, but that one specifies it can't kill lands.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Marvin wants to protect his dictator, his Talon.
Like sorcery speed. Also, oh man, Marvin has to be completely sure that he's gonna win the game if he wants to put counters on that. Because if he lets Brandon take a turn, he can down tick, make him sack that land. Because it would be a creature at the time.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Amazing. Because if you let so you're gonna flash, I think another dictate end of turn. No.
No, it's
Giga Drowse.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes.
An interesting card choice.
That I do know that's because now it leaves Marvin an open board to attack into.
Right.
So now if he can go off this turn and put counters on that Inkmoth, it should be honestly
Beautiful
an open board
Guild Pact Watery Grave, I think, or maybe it's Dissension. But anyways, Marvin is at 16.
And he did put the counters. It looks like on the. Even if he didn't represent, he pointed to it and moved it in front.
Yeah, it looks like he may just have the kill here, so he's just moving quickly. He's got the Tom Ross sit up in his chair. Let's go. Like, you dead posture. Yeah, it looks like he may just have the kill here, so he's here's Snapcaster Mage. He's going to flashback.
A take turn spell.
Yep. There's a Time Warp. Let's do the Time Warp.
Animate, attack you for 7 infect.
So Brandon Sheets is at 3 essentially.
Yep.
He's going to take his extra turn.
He's just going to concede because
he needed to leave open path to exile.
And even still, it didn't matter because he had the Giga Drowse. He can tap down a land.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like he's just going to concede because.
Alright, so Marvin Carr takes this one 2-0. That was relatively quick, so we are going to work a little bit harder to get a second match under the camera. We will be right back for you guys. Thanks for watching. So Marvin Carr takes
Boom.
All right, guys, welcome back to Friday Night Magic at Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming. We have Troy Taylor on the left. He's playing Affinity versus Ryan Wolf. Woo! He on the excuse me.
All right, guys,
On the right, he's
welcome
playing
back to Friday Night
Blue
Magic at Four Horsemen Comics and
Moon.
Gaming. We have Troy Taylor on the
Is
left.
that
He's
that's
playing
Volt
Affinity
Scourge?
versus Ryan.
Yeah.
No, that's Signal Pest.
Yes.
He has a promo Signal Pest and a regular one. And then that's a Mox Opal.
Yep, Masterpiece. He has a lot of Masterpiece in it. No, is that a Signal Pest? Or that might be the promo Vault Scourge. No, it can't be because he's still at 20 life. He'd have had to pay 2 life.
Yeah, that's the Signal Pest promo.
Is that a Signal Pest? Or that
All
might
right.
be the...
All right, here's Steel Overseer. I very rarely see Affinity lose a game where they get to activate a Steel Overseer.
And it looks like he's going to be able to activate it.
Yeah.
All right, here's Steel Overseer.
Ryan did not
I
have the bolt
Very rarely
for
see
it.
Affinity lose a game where they get to activate.
Getting these life totals adjusted.
Activate. He's going to be able to activate it.
All right, here's Steel
Boom, boom.
Yeah, that's a
Boom.
must have something to do with that mana since he didn't activate that blink Inkmoth Nexus. Yep, here we go. And the cranial plating, pretty good, but Ryan does have the remand for it. Still, remand is just a band-aid.
Yes.
And actually-
you know it's coming again.
And Troy wasn't able to equip that turn.
Yes, he could. Mox Opal.
Oh, is it only one? I thought it was two.
It, yeah, it's 1 to equip, I think.
And black to attach?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 2 to equip.
I think it's only 1.
Alright, Electrify, targeting one of the Signal Pests. Ryan will draw another card. He's tapped out for the turn.
Yes.
Signal Pest, he electrified in his main phase there.
Electrify, targeting one of the Signal Pests.
Alright, so it looks like Troy's going to be free to cast and
Yep.
equip and get in there.
For, let's see, it's going to be...
Alright, so it looks like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 or 10. Plus 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10.
11. The
11.
battle cry off the Signal Pest.
Yeah, I was adding that.
Okay.
Is Signal Pest, what's Signal Pest power toughness?
An 01?
I thought, so it'd be 1, 2.
Well, it looks like he's dead. He's going to be dead on this turn anyway, regardless.
What's Signal Pest power toughness? 9, 10.
I would imagine.
Oh, Darksteel Citadel.
Oh, yeah, that's
The artifact I was missing.
And here's a Ravager if it wasn't enough as is.
It's gonna be a cryptic command.
Yep, Cryptic Command's
The
going to tap
artifact
the
I was
team.
missing.
Or counter and tap the team.
Yep.
Yep. And then Troy will activate the Steel
It's gonna be
Overseer
a
in
cryptic
response.
command.
Yep, Cryptic Command's going to tap the team. Counter and tap the team. Even a main deck Anger of the Gods isn't gonna,
doesn't even
gonna
matter
do it.
now.
Yes. That's Steel Overseer. That card is crazy. Yep, and
Yep.
Ryan scoops it up in just under 2-ish minutes. 3.
Doesn't even matter
Let me
now.
update it. In just under 4 minutes, Troy Taylor has taken game 1. We are on to game 2.
Ryan scoops it up in just under.
I got that was pretty normal pace for Affinity, but
I was gonna say the one thing, like talking to not Troy, Jimmy, was he was saying like Affinity game 1 is usually favored a lot of the times, and the hardest games are gonna be 2 and 3.
yeah, it's just like Dredge and Legacy,
Yes.
where you have an extremely high game 1 win percentage, and then you're a dog and you're in your second game.
Can't confirm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like Dredge and Legacy.
Well, I used to play a little bit of Manaless Dredge. I know what that life's about.
I mean, I have Mana Dredge put together, and with like the Lion's Eye Diamond Dredge, that would be fun to play at the
I used to play a little bit of Manaless
Team Eternal Extravaganza. I mean, I have.
Oh, what if all 3 of you play Dredge? Team Dredge?
I mean, I don't see us playing Team Dredge, but
Probably not, but I mean that'd be pretty sweet.
that'd be a sweet team.
Oh, what if all 3 of you play Dredge? Team GY?
But you definitely have to, like, if you're playing Legacy Dredge, you have to have turn 1 kill in it. You can't like, can't mess around. You have to go for it. You have to play, 2 Dread Returns main and the. You can't.
Flamekin Zealot?
Yep.
Yep.
You get there. You don't.
Yep.
I've only ever turned one person, and I've done it to him twice.
Who's that? Sean.
Nope.
Brain.
Nope, we had him on camera earlier.
Tim?
Yep.
Oh.
He on Wednesday night he came out to play Legacy,
Mhm.
and I think I actually gave him Elves to play that night. Or no, he proxied Burn, and I had turn 1 kill on him. Only one of our games, and then we were playtesting again later, and I got him on turn 1 again.
Seems like a terrible matchup for Burn.
And I had turn 1 kill on him. Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of
Only
Legacy,
one of our games, and then
back
we were
to our
playtesting
Eternal
again later, and I
Festival
got
that
him
we
on
have
turn
coming
1
up at the end of August. On Sunday, we are going to have a Legacy Grinder. It's going to be our
Yes.
Proxy Legacy Championship. We've been running, allowing proxies for our Legacy events for encroaching on a year now, and it has really put a shot in the arm of our Legacy attendance. So we're going to have a big event to cap that off, and then we're going to have a side event that afternoon. No Ban List Modern, which I'm super excited to see what people bring out for that. So we're going to have a big event.
I wanted to play that so bad for that.
Well, you just you play in the Legacy event, and then if you're not doing well, you just because it's 4 hours after, so you just drop one of the no ban list.
But I would normally work that day.
Oh yeah, that's true. What shift do you work that day?
2 to 4.
2 to 4.
Or 2 to 6.
Because it's 4 hours after. Well, maybe we can get somebody to cover. We'll see. That's a ways away. Ooh, that's a Delver. Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, we're back in the game, and Troy has an affinity hand on the draw.
Turn 1 Memnite. Tap your mountain for the Springleaf Drum. Tap the Memnite Springleaf Drum. Play the Vault Scourge, shooting 18 on Troy's side.
What is that card in Ryan's graveyard?
That is a Serum Visions, I think, from
Oh, it's the
Modern
new art?
Masters.
Yeah, it's the new art.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, here's Springleaf Drum tapping down the thing. Ceremonious rejection on the Etch Champion, which is kicks the Etch Champion be very strong in this matchup. Here's Lightning Bolt for Vault Scourge. Alright, Ryan is doing a much better job of treading water in game 2. We have Aaron Cather in the booth. Say hi, Aaron.
Hi. Young Aaron coming in clutch, getting my sweet tea.
Where's my sweet tea, Aaron? That's good because I don't like sweet tea. Aaron Cather in the booth. Say hi, Aaron. Get out here, Arnold. Bye.
Bye, Dad.
Where's my sweet tea, Aaron? So, back to the match. Troy deployed a second Memnite. And here, here's Cranial Plating. Alright, so.
Is he gonna have is Ryan?
Snapcaster Mage would counter it because he does have a Ceremonious Rejection in his graveyard. He has a Remand. But it looks like he's just going to let it resolve. Might remand the Thoughtcast here.
I think that seems, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just wants to get closer to the lightning bolts in his deck. In which case, I might have tapped Island there just on the off chance you draw a bolt.
Seems, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just wants to get closer to the lightning. Beautiful islands, by the way. Here's Jace. +1 on Jace is pretty good against this board. Although it doesn't help.
It doesn't do much once he equips the cranial plating.
It's good without the cranial plating.
So like the cranial plating equip is just as a blink moth.
It doesn't do much. So he's just going to go ahead and take it down. I feel like a lot of Affinity opponents say, "Hey, I would have won that game if you just didn't have that cranial plating."
Blink moth. I have only ever gotten frustrated playing against Affinity one time, and that was whenever I knew he had nothing in hand, and then he drew the cranial plating to kill me. After I got rid of the other cranial plating in his hand.
I only got frustrated against Affinity once, and it's when they beat me in the semifinals of a Pro Tour qualifier, and I was 2 wins away from going to Hawaii on the Pro Tour. Frustrated against many moons ago. When I was
back when you were actively playing Modern.
Back when Birthing Pod was a card
I was going to say, were you playing Kiki Pod?
I was playing Kiki Pod.
I remember that.
And I just got Affinity 2 games in a row.
Back when you were actively
Sometimes you just can't do anything against this deck. Sometimes they just get the nuts and you lose. I was playing Kiki Pod.
I remember that.
And I just got Affinity 2 games in a row. Alright, here's Springleaf Drum.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep. Alright, here's the Thoughtcast.
Thoughtcast seems fine too.
Yeah, it might be going a little harder. It looks like
there's
Arcbound Ravager?
Either Arcbound or another Mox.
Yeah, but he's going to go ahead and attack.
Thoughtcast seems fine too.
Yeah, it might. Alright, go ahead, yes. Go Young White. Arcbound Ravager? Alright, so here's the attack. Ryan's down to 11. Alright, so here's the attack.
Ryan's just going to
down
go ahead and
to
use up
11.
the rest of the counters on his Jace, and Troy's going to say, you can have 2 lands instead of 1, and Ryan's going to go, great, I'll take those 2 lands.
Ryan's just going to go ahead.
So he's going to go ahead and fetch that Pluto Delta, go down to 10, I would assume.
lands instead of 1, and Ryan's going to go great.
Now he's 28. Good. Ryan used up the last of the counters on his Jace and revealed 3 lands. So Troy said, you can have 2 lands, and Ryan said, okay, I'll take 2 lands. And now he fetched down to 8. Ryan used up the last of the counters on his Jace and revealed 3 lands. So Troy said, you can have 2 lands. Now it looks like, yeah, so there's the Anger of the Gods. Troy already moved his Mim Knights over. But we still have this Blink Moth Nexus in the Cranial Plating.
So
And there's a Galvanic Blast. Which he does have Metalcraft, so...
But the thing is, he can't equip Cranial Plating to the Blink Moth yet unless he draws another land.
Yeah, he needs another, or a Mim Knight, or
He
an
can-
Ornithopter. He does have
Yeah.
Metalcraft. So
Like, he can equip it, but it can't attack.
still, like, he gets to cast this Galvanic Blast at some point. Yeah, he's just going to do it now while Ryan only has 2 mana up, and
Yeah.
Ryan's down to 4.
Like,
This
he can equip
seems like a
it,
fine
but
spot for
it
Troy.
can't attack.
Still, like, he gets to cast this Galvanic Blast at some point. Yeah, okay, so there's Mountain. Ryan only has 2 mana up, and Ryan's down to 4. Ryan has to have something. He's just going to kick it back. He does have an Electrify that he can use to kill that. Alright, so yeah. So Troy's going to get to Animate and Equip, but Ryan has the Electrify that he can cast in response to the Equip. Troy's going to get to Animate and Equip, but Ryan has the Electrify that yeah, so here we go. Kill the Blink Moth Nexus. He's gonna float mana Galvanic Blast. Is it Charm unless you pay 2? So the Galvanic Blast was countered by the Spell Pierce mode on the Is it Charm. Ryan draws a card and Troy has to pass it back. That was a nice little exchange. I like how quickly they resolved that stack.
Yup.
You can tell both of these players play a lot of Magic.
I still think, though, it is important to know, like...
Goblin Dark.
Yup.
You can tell both of these players. Is important what?
I was gonna say to know, like, I still think though, like Troy still just a Galvanic, like even right now it's a Galvanic Blast.
I like Troy's spot here.
I was gonna say to know, like,
Any is that yeah? So here's the arc.
A Galvanic, like even right now. Ravager to remand it.
Yeah, I like Troy's spot. Basically, any threat that gets to stick is pretty bad. So here's the arc. Even an Ornithopter here is terrifying.
I think honestly an Ornithopter would be terrible for Ryan here.
Yeah, because it has the evasion.
Yep, and it doesn't matter if it gets remanded.
And the Dark Dwellers aren't a terribly fast clock in this spot. Oh, there's Inkmoth.
Inkmoth.
Yeah.
Yep, and it.
Alright, so here's the Ravager, another remand. They always have another remand, but here's the Ravager again. Looks like Ryan might have a Snapcaster Mage because he's looking at his graveyard.
Snap Ceremonious.
They always have another remand. Yep, but that's the play.
Yep.
Still that Blink Moth or Inkmoth Nexus is on the
Can't
battle.
counter that boy.
So he's looking for a lightning bolt or something. So here's an attack for 6. Troy's down to 5, so he is dead on board.
Yeah, so
So he's looking for a lightning bolt or something. We might get a game 3 out of this. Troy's down to 5. So
gonna animate. Yeah, so
actually, because that's Infect, Ryan may just be able to let this happen.
nope.
But he has the Psionic Blast anyway, taking himself down to 2. Because that's Infect, there's Ravager. Ryan may just be able to let this happen.
Nope.
But he has the Psionic
This is an interesting
So do you just
development.
Doesn't the Goblin Dark Dwellers have Menace?
Yes.
So he has to block the Snapcaster Mage.
This is an interesting development.
Yep.
Doesn't the Goblin Dark Dwellers have Menace?
Alright, so there's
Yes.
a Blood Moon.
So he has
Okay.
to block the Snapcaster Mage.
This is an interesting.
And in for 4, since the Snapcaster just gets blocked, he's just going to leave it back. Troy's down to 1. And this game got real different real quick. The Snapcaster just looks like, I'm guessing based on his posture here, we're going to game 3. Unless he's trying to figure out a way to have Ryan make a mistake, but I'm pretty sure Ryan's going to block, so... I'm guessing based on his... Yes, okay, so we're on to game 3.
Hey, you should have bluffed just throwing him out there.
I mean, I would have attacked for sure. Like, it's not like you're worried about the clock in this matchup. But Ryan does tie this up. We're going to game 3. Affinity versus the Blue Moon. It's not like you're worried. I remember Ryan groaning when they spoiled that Invocations wasn't there.
Yep.
He's like, oh my god.
I got the one of the new set of Invocation I want to get a choke. So
That one doesn't even look like a choke. Isn't
No.
there like lava on it or?
no, I think red water.
Yeah,
blood.
it's
blood.
Oh yeah, because the river. Well, when the hour comes, the river that runs through the city turns to blood.
I think red
So that is exactly what it is.
blood.
Oh yeah, because the river. Well, when the hour comes, zombie crocodiles. Liliana summons zombie crocodiles out of it, and they eat Razaketh.
Dang.
Yeah.
I didn't get to read the thing.
They
Spoiler alert.
like the very first story out of Hour of Devastation is the Gatewatch fighting Razaketh, and spoiler alert, Liliana kills him by. They fight him and they weaken him, and then Liliana summons all the dead when Razaketh changed the river to blood, he killed all the crocodiles in it. So
She's like,
she
cool, thanks.
Yeah, she's like, now I got an army, and she summons them and they eat
So it was literally like the Necromancer DLC from Diablo 3.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because I've literally been playing the Necromancer DLC. They just started season 11, and I started a fresh character yesterday.
Nice.
Those of you at home, if you haven't played it yet, it's $15, well worth it. The Necromancer is a very fun character to play as.
Nice. Bring in our
Those of you at home, if you haven't played it yet, it's
Facebook
$15.
chat. Facebook. Yep.
The Necromancer is a very fun character to play as.
Alright, so it looks like our players are good on their set. Nope, Troy's shipping it back. And looks like Ryan is too. I feel like taking mulligans, I'd rather be in Troy's seat than in Ryan's. I'm not sure though. Because there's a lot of redundancy in Affinity, but it also requires a lot of cards.
I feel better mulliganing with either of these decks than I would have back in the days with Pod, though.
Oh yeah.
Although, like, the one deck of any deck that I've ever played, the one deck that like I don't hate mulliganing is Modern X.
Yeah, because it's so redundant.
It's and like the big one have been like last week I won on the mulligan to 4. Though I was against a good match, but like I looked at it and it was like 3 elves that make mana, 1 land. All right, let's go.
Yeah, that's my plan. That's what I do. Alright, so Troy has some artifacts and some lands, and Ryan has some spells and some lands. So I think we got a game here. That's my plan. That's what I do. Troy's scrying to the bottom, Ryan is scrying to the top, and we are underway. Here's Darksteel Citadel into Vault Scourge. So Troy is at 18. Troy's scrying to the bottom, Ryan is scrying to the top, and we are underway. Ryan's just gonna lead on an island. So here's Glimmer Void, Mox Opal. We're gonna see a big turn, maybe. Here's a second Vault Scourge. These Vault Scourges they're better than they often appear.
The first one is not a Vault Scourge. The first one's the
Signal Pest?
yeah.
No, he paid 2 life when he cast it. Yeah.
Well, one's the Signal Pest, one's a Vault Scourge. That's the Signal Pest.
No, this one is the Vault Scourge.
Oh, they're both Vault Scourges. Oh, why doesn't he have all promos?
I'm sure if he had them, he's probably working on it.
Signal Pest. Boy, he better.
Alright, Serum Visions, we missed what it was. Island Go. It's like Ink Moth. Swing for 2. So,
1.
Troy's 21, Ryan's 17.
The one thing about Affinity is 2 lands in hand, but the one thing is like top bottom or P quickly.
Oh yeah, that was a little fast. Ryan, you gotta go slower on those so we can play our game.
Alright,
Top.
Top bottom. Top bottom or top.
Oh. Yeah, I'm 201. Yeah, that was a little fast. Ryan, you gotta go slower on those so we can play our game.
Alright,
Top.
top bottom.
So Ryan's just digging.
But what I was gonna say is like a lot of times with Affinity, like sometimes like where he's at now, it's just really mediocre beatdowns.
Yeah. Granted, Ryan isn't doing much either, but
what I was gonna say is like a lot of times.
No.
Like sometimes
23 to 15, and Ryan has 1 impact.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes an issue that Affinity has is they get confused on if they're on the damage or the infect plan. Now, there's no reason not to attack with Ink Moth.
And that's another.
No, especially because I think his other card in hand is a land.
Mm-hmm. But it would be much better if it were a Blink Moth since he's already on the damage plan.
Yes.
But-
No, especially because I think his other card in hand is a land.
Alright, fetching down
But
to
it would
13.
be much better if it were a blink month since he's already on the damage plan.
Yes. No, especially because
I think Ryan's just looking for an Anger of the Gods or something here. Which, like, so that's the awkward part. So if Ryan angers here,
he still
Yeah.
has an Ink Moth.
but now he's on the Infect plan and Ryan's only taken one hit. So
Yeah.
it's weird. So that's the awkward part. So if Ryan
Oh no, he has something else in hand too that I can't tell what
he
it
has
is.
a Darksteel Citadel and a
And
Mox
Mox
Opal.
Opal.
Yeah. So mana.
A Hase.
He's not gonna have any problems with Metalcraft.
I'll say uptick so that we can't get any damage
Yep,
through.
no damage. We need like Mox Opal is not. Ew, currently Troy has 3 Mox Opals.
I'll say
Not
uptick
great.
so that we can't get any damage
Yep,
through.
no damage. We need,
But
like,
hear me out on this.
currently Troy has 3.
If Troy had a Craterhoof Behemoth, he could play it.
All right, so flow to green, play 1, legend roll out the tapped one, flow to green,
Green.
play 1, legend roll out the tapped one, flow to green, tap all the rest of my mana. So Arcbound Ravager is a great draw, but Ryan has the Ceremonious Rejection.
And
Electrify
the
away the
Electrify.
2 guys, draw a card. Yeah, that's so. While Ryan was doing all that digging, he had plenty of removal to answer whatever Troy had, and now Troy's in a bad spot. So if you ultimate Jace, what do you get? Troy had, and now Troy's in a bad spot. So
If I'm on Ryan's side, I really have no idea what I would get like out of Troy's deck.
cause Steel Overseer doesn't do anything for you. Arcbound Ravager doesn't do anything for you.
Master of Ethereum doesn't do anything
Etch
for you.
Champion doesn't do anything
Like,
for
out of
you.
Troy's deck.
Maybe you get like Vault Scourge.
Oh man, he can animate those Ink Moth, then Galvanic Blast for 4. Or no, he doesn't even have to, because he has the Mox Opal.
Yeah. Maybe you get like Vault Scourge.
Oh
There's
man, he can
Galvanic
animate
Blast.
those Ink Moth, then Galvanic Blast for 4. Or no, he doesn't even have to, because he has the...
That's bad when you're Galvanic Blasting your opponent's Jace Architect of Thought, just so he doesn't ultimate on you, so he doesn't steal your cranial plating so you can't draw it. That's bad.
It's going to be remanded.
Currently, we have Troy Taylor, who on the left, he's playing Affinity. You see the deck name right under their players' names, and then he's playing Ryan Wolf, who's on Blue Moon, Mr. Travis Smith. Currently, we have Troy Taylor, who on the left, he's playing
I think it's a really bad spot right now for Troy.
Yeah, this doesn't seem good. Like, dragging it this late in the game, Ryan's deck is definitely going to have an advantage here.
But Troy's going to start gaining 1 life a turn.
I mean, Inventor's Fair is a powerful card. We've learned that tonight. It is a land where powerful wizards lay their head. Not wizards,
but-
wizards.
He can crack Adventurer's Fair though to go for search for an artifact. Yeah.
Alright, so Ryan is electrifying to the dome, taking Troy down to 21. And now Ryan has a clock.
He can crack Adventurer's Fair though to go for
11 turn clock. Actually, no, it's a 22 turn clock because of the Inventor's Fair. Alright, here we go. Turn 1 of 22. Get ready, Troy. Actually, no, it's down to 19.
Wait.
And if Troy plays another Inventor's Fair...
Alright, here we go. Turn 1 of 22.
Okay,
Get ready,
so
Troy.
you can't fog this
He
up.
cracked it. He cracked it to go get something.
Okay, that's fair.
And Ryan is looking at a Ceremonious Rejection in hand right now.
Yup. And a lightning bolt too. So his pick of answers.
Troy stopped checking out the cranial plating, which I don't think seems... And a bolt. Okay. Ceremonious Rejection in hand right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get... Oh, it's Champion.
Edge Champion will get countered, but I understand him grabbing that because if Ryan doesn't have a counter spell, the Edge Champion's probably the best card he could get.
Wouldn't be surprised to see him
So
get-
I like that play.
Edge Champion.
I also like the play for the fact that if Ryan gets to ultimate as Jace, he goes and gets an Edge Champion of his... Oh no, he doesn't have Metalcraft
He doesn't have
ever.
Metalcraft.
Ugh. I also like to play for the
I mean, he
fact
may
that,
get it just so
if
Troy
Ryan
can't,
gets
but...
as Jace,
Oh,
he
it's
goes and gets
rough.
an Edge Champion of his... Oh no, he doesn't have Metalcraft ever.
Ugh.
I also like to
Alright, so there's the Ceremonious Rejection.
So Troy can't.
Got the... Too bad we don't have a Foghorn there for Edge Champion. It's alright.
I don't think it warranted it though. Like nothing crazy. We knew it was coming.
Yeah. Stop cast.
It's not a Craterhoof Behemoth put into play off of a champion.
It's alright.
Bronze. I don't think
I think
it
he
warranted
drew-
it, though. Like nothing
Springleaf
crazy.
Drum and
We knew it was
something
coming.
else.
Stop
Oh
cast.
man, it's not a Craterhoof Behemoth put into play off of
Mm,
a looter
Smuggler?
scooter.
yeah, here we go. But Psionic Blast is going to say, No, man.
Yeah.
Or no, silent.
No.
Yeah, because it wasn't crude, so he couldn't blast it. So Ryan's just going
A
upstairs,
little
taking
scooter.
Troy down 212 off of 2 burn spells.
And Ryan goes down to 11 off of that blast.
Yep.
Putting himself on blast. And Ryan goes down to 11.
Alright, so
off of
here
that
is
blast.
Snapcaster Mage.
And Ryan has another Snapcaster in hand, so if Troy crews that scooter.
Ooh, here's Goblin Dark Dwellers. He's just gonna shoot Psionic Blast.
And Ryan has
Why?
another Snapcaster
Is there?
in hand, so if,
I guess
Troy
you Psionic
crews
Blast your
that
opponent instead of
scooter.
Lightning Bolt. That way you save the Lightning Bolt for a Snapcaster that's more mana efficient.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Ryan has another another bolt in hand.
Yeah, man. Here's Springleaf Drum and another Springleaf Drum. I think Troy's just showing his opponent he has not had the best draws in this game. Yeah, man. Here's Springleaf Drum and another.
And
Springleaf Drum, I think
let's see, Ford.
showing his opponent.
Troy's just dead this turn.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
just dead. All right, so that's it. Unfortunately, Game 3 was not terribly exciting. Both players played a great match, but we did have a good Game 1 and a good Game 2. Or at least, maybe not a good Game 1, but an entertaining Game 1.
Yes, Affinity did what it wanted to do.
Yeah, which is always great to see on camera. Maybe it's not great to see when you're sitting across from it, but it's definitely entertaining for the audience. All right, most of our matches have been going pretty quickly. When we went down after our round 2 feature match, there were only 2 other matches going on left in the tournament. So I don't know.
Both in Game 3.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have another match for you, but we will be back soon with round number 4, guys. Thank you very much. We're gonna go eat tacos.
Testing. All right, that might fix it. Hey guys, welcome back to Friday Night Magic here at Horseman Comics and Gaming. We got 2 green mages in the booth that are about to commentate on a blue-red mirror, so let's see how this goes.
Hey, the one blue-red guy is a green mage, though. Typically.
You're right. I mean, yeah, he does play an awful lot of green decks. Which I've said that before. The best player in the store plays all green. What's that tell you?
Green, best color.
Best color. All right, so we do have Kazu Negri on the left. He's playing Blue-Red Giftstorm versus Ryan Wolf on the right, who we saw last round. He's still playing Blue Moon.
Oh, we've got to take guess on 2 Serum Visions.
What? That's all right. You can't overcome my lead anyway. We'll see. There's going to be a lot of Serum
I could have
Visions.
caught up on those too.
Yeah, you could. You could. And there's likely to be a lot of Serum Visions. Now, don't barrel over, because Kazu did play the Chief of Compliance. And looks like Ryan
Discarding
discarded.
the hand size.
Yeah, he's missing a land drop. That's unfortunate. Sorry, barrels attacking for 1. Ryan's down to 19. What's going through your head if you're playing against Storm and they attack with Brawl?
I don't really think much. I'm not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's an attack of opportunity. Like,
Yeah,
why not?
it's one less spell that you have to cast.
Yep. Like, I don't want to say be more alerted, but like, if he didn't attack.
Right. If I'm Kazu, I'm probably thinking that Ryan has some number of counter spells in his hand.
I see a Remand, I think, on the far right of Ryan's hand,
Yeah.
which doesn't do too much right now.
No,
Like-
Remand's actually not great against the Storm deck, considering they themselves play Remand for their own spells.
Yep. Like, Remand my Grape Shot, play Grape Shot again, kill you.
Yep. Pretty strong. All right, here's Baral again. Ryan's down to 18.
I mean, hopefully next week I'll be able to. I haven't gotten to play in an FNM in a few weeks. I like
Top.
bottom.
Come on, Kazu. You know you want those cards. Those are exactly the cards you need to kill Ryan. All right. 2-1-1.
1-2-1.
All right, I'm calling it right now on that sleight of hand, top bottom. All right, he's going to pass it back. He's going to go. Ryan is going to go ahead and fetch. You see a Psionic Blast coming right now. Surprised he's not getting a Steam Vents there, letting himself only have a single blue mana. Since we knew he missed a land drop. But yeah, here's Psionic Blast.
Blast, targeting Brawl.
Alright, drew another blue.
I feel like the one thing that, like, Storm does feel like an awkward deck, though, sometimes if you don't have the Brawl or the Goblin Electromancer. Like,
Yeah.
it's real hard.
Most of the games I won against Storm back in the day were games where I was either able to kill the Electromancer or the Pyromancer's Ascension, which is what they used to play in place of Brawl.
Yep.
I think, honestly, like, if you get Pyromancer's Ascension going, it's the better card, but Brawl definitely, in general, is the better card, because it takes less to get it going.
Yep. Electrolyze.
Pyromancer's Ascension is a scary card to play against. Alright. Choose down to 17.
Not scary if you have Solemnity. Can't get counters on that boy.
Nope.
It looks like a handful of rituals for Kazu.
Yep. Is he looking for business?
I think, is it 2 Pasts and Flames on the far left?
Yeah.
I think it's a
maybe?
handful of rituals and then and 2 Pasts and Flames.
He's got a Manamorphose, so he has some card draw. He might be looking for something else before he goes for it, though. Especially since he's not really under any pressure. Although now that Ryan has the active Loot House, that's scary. Because he's going to get to fix his hand up pretty nice. Fix it up like it's going to the prom. Man, he's just going to pass it back.
And is that gifts, I think Kazu just drew?
Yeah,
Or
so
is
they,
it- Yep.
if that's the business he wants. So if he gets his first couple rituals off. All right, so yeah, he looks like he's going to try and go for it this turn, or at least he's going to test the waters with a Manamorphose.
Remand.
Yep. Which here, do you probably just hold that and go for another turn, or do you Manamorphose again?
Yeah, Manamorphose again.
Yep.
Causes a point now he has to force Ryan to do something.
Mm-hmm. He can't just let him keep activating Loot House.
And filling up his hand.
Yeah, and just casting whatever bird spells he draws.
Yep.
Because that's going to make Kazu's ad nauseum real bad. Oh, wait! He's not that deck. Wrong Storm deck. Might be.
Cryptic, counter,
Yep.
draw. And it looks like another Manamorphose in Kazu's hand.
Yep.
So
he's got plenty of rituals. He's got Past in Flames. He's got gifts. As soon as he gets to resolve a couple of rituals, he should be sitting pretty.
yeah, I think that's another gifts, unless it's a blue card. It's either a gifts or a brawl.
I want to say that's a gifts I'm given, but I'm not totally sure. No, that's definitely gifts. On the far right there, yeah, that's gifts. All right, so
2 gifts, yeah.
positioning his mana.
Bolting.
It looks like. Does that mean he passed turn?
I would assume.
Yeah.
Bolt to the anti-turn, Psionic Blast.
Yep. So down to 11, and Ryan is at 10.
10 all
10
is
all.
what they have.
Might be. I'll trust them. They're better.
Gifts.
All right. So here's gifts. So I'm curious what the priority exchange was there. Why Ryan is Kazu just gifting at his end step?
Yep. While Ryan's tapped down, can't Cryptic Command or anything.
Yep. That's fair. That seems like a good play. Because he's gonna get to set up his next turn.
Yep.
I wonder what your obviously depends on the rest of the cards in his hand, which we only have a vague idea of what he has, but I'm curious to see what the piles are, because I always thought that Modern Storm was super hard to play, and I don't think adding Gifts Ungiven to the deck makes it any easier.
I feel like it's I can't say some number Manamorphose. I think is going to be Manamorphose. We saw Grape Shot and
yeah.
I've seen that one Manamorphose or Grape Shot 2 rituals, but it's going to be a Brawl, an Electromancer, Remand, and a Grape Shot.
Okay, so normally you'd see a Past in Flames in the pile, but since Kazu already has at least one Past in Flames in his hand, he doesn't have to get that. And Ryan's going to let the 2 creatures go to the bin since he's been firing off all his burn spells at Kazu's face, and he's going to let him have the spells.
And I think
he's discarding for turn now, looks like.
I think that's fine, because if Kazu's got a handful of rituals,
it's also if Kazu has Past in Flames, you can't flashback Goblin Electromancer, so
No.
that makes total sense.
But keep in mind right now, let's say Ryan just doesn't have any more counter spells. Kazu can ritual, just ritual out, Past in Flames, ritual, Grape Shot kill you.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep. Because Ryan's at 10 because Sonic Blasts and whatnot.
Yep.
All right. So here's Chandra, the Torch of Defiance, aka Rebel teenage Rebel Chandra.
Me.
Yeah. She's gonna go ahead and deal 2 damage to Mr. Negri.
That boy.
That boy. You like that Ease It Dragon on that land there?
On that good classic, the OG foil steam vent.
Yeah. That'd be the one. Alright, so here's Ritual. It resolves, so he's 3 red in pool.
3 red, Storm
plus 1 on mana. We're gonna have to so we're gonna need to get some device for Storm players to accurately represent mana and Storm in our feature match area. Note to self.
Manamorphose.
Storm is 2, still 3 mana in pool.
Looks like it's going to be sitting at 3 red.
Yeah, it looks like it's all
I
red.
don't think Ryan has a counterspell in hand. I think he has a land and a commit to memory.
It's rough because it looks like Ryan's been guiding this match really well, because he's had counterspells when he's needed it. He's had burn spells to whittle away at Kazu's life. He has Chandra as a threat, but he could still just lose right here.
And I'm going to keep track. Storm count 2, 2 red, 1 blue, I think, in pool.
How about you do mana and I'll do Storm?
Okay.
All right, Storm is 4.
No red, going up to 3 red.
And I gave you the crappy job, but whatever.
I think it's 3 red, 2 blue.
Storm is 5.
Going up, so
he just needs 5 more.
4 red.
Yep. We need to get some
4
Arcade
red,
Post. We're gonna get some Arcade Post tokens for Storm and mana for the feature match area. All right, Storm
Grape
is 6.
Shot, grape shotting for 6.
Yep. We'll storm a 6, so
And he's
he'll
going
shot
to
for 7.
he'll probably remand it.
Yeah, he'll remand it and cast it again, and that looks like that's the match.
Oh, no, he has another grape shot in hand.
Okay, so
Yeah,
he's just
just
going to
grape shot
go,
again.
go easy mode. And it looks like so if he remands, that gives Ryan an opportunity to use a counter spell. But since he just has grape shot, it's essentially uncounterable. So that looks like this is game.
This should be game.
Yeah. Is that Raul Zarek in Ryan's hand?
Yep.
All right. So Raul Zarek is defeated by grape shot. Kazu Negri takes game 1 over Ryan Wolf Haru. I'm just typing in random numbers here. Get these numbers up to date. All right, and I do want to remind everybody we do have a event going on tomorrow. We have 2 actually. We have a triple Modern Masters draft.
Yep.
At 5 o'clock. That is $50 to play. You get 1 pack of each Modern Masters. And that is brought to us by our good friend Andy Ballard. We're just giving him the space. He has the packs. He's going to bring them in. So it's $50 to him at 5 o'clock to play that awesome format. And we also have the Standard Showdown Hour of Devastation edition. And that is a free event at 6 o'clock. People get packs for playing. It's kind of geared towards casual. I don't have Tribal Cats built, but if I were going to be playing in the Standard Showdown, I would be playing Tribal Cats.
Honestly, if I were playing Standard right now, and like I was talking to Kazu, but like I would play Blue-White Oketra's Monument, even though it's like one of the top decks in Standard right now. Like that deck to me just seems so sweet.
What's it do?
So the big thing is Oketra's Monument is, that's what the deck's based around, which makes all white spells cost 1 less.
Yep.
All white creature spells cost 1 less.
Yep.
And when you cast a creature spell, you get a 1/1 white
Cat token?
warrior token with
okay.
vigilant, or soldier token with vigilance.
Okay.
And the deck's just like basically a white weenie, blue-white weenie deck.
Okay.
Spell Quellers, Thalia's Lieutenant.
Ooh, 2 mana Spell Quellers. Seems
Yep.
real good.
And you get a 1/1 out of it too.
Do you play Thalia Heretic Cathar?
I think it's in the sideboard.
Should be 2 mana. That'd be sweet. Shuts down your sneak attack opponent. It's pretty good.
Like the deck's super sweet, and I'm a huge fan of it. It's fairly cheap too. As far as decks go.
I read an article recently that Standard is just the cheapest it's been in a couple of years right now.
Which is good. I mean, I remember the Standard Khans of Tarkir Magic Origin Standard.
When you had the fetch lands and the Tango lands, and Jace Wren's Prodigy and Gideon Allies Zendikar. And
Yep. And you were looking at $700 Standard decks.
yeah, because they were like 4 colors and they played no basics. And
Yep.
they had 2 Planeswalkers that were played in Eternal formats. And bleh.
Yes.
Kulligan's Command and Tassigurs, and there's just like all rares. It's pretty gross.
Yep. That was gross.
Yeah, a lot of people fell off the Standard train.
I fell off the Standard train. I've gotten on and off of it. A little bit later, whenever Shadows over Innistrad came out and the 4-color Crippled with Rights decks came out,
That was a cool deck.
I played that deck, and it was a lot of fun to play.
All right, so Ryan is on the play, as is customary for the person who lost game number 1. And he's going to go ahead and put himself down to 19 and grab a beautiful basic island.
A few Serum Visions. Probably will. Top, bottom.
Bottom.
Top.
Okay, so it's 2-1-2. We'll see. All right, bottom, top.
Bottom.
All right. I feel like bottom's probably a strong pick with the Storm deck because they're just looking for specific stuff.
Yeah. Although it looked like on Ryan's square he had 2 lands, so... Top, bottom.
All right, so 3-1-2. Come at me, Rosef. All right, Relic Progenitus is pretty strong, and Ancestral Visions is fine.
Will this Ancestral Visions ever resolve?
No.
Okay.
I've got the read on Kazu. He's either going to win or lose before that card resolves. That's happening.
Or it could remand it.
Ron Davis in the booth.
In his outfit.
Saw, dude.
Braun, put your shirt back on.
Ron! Oh God! Okay, you can keep the shirt off. Just keep the pants on. Trying to watch magic here. Jeez. All right. So Goblin Electromancer.
I'll show you my Goblin Electromancer.
Oh my God.
Did Ryan miss a land drop?
Yeah, he did. Ah, we turned that off.
I don't know how to turn things off.
Truth.
I'd say that's false. All right, so 2 counters on the visions. I have no idea what's going on. The Goblin Electromancer attacked. Ryan's down to 17. Go away! Alright, Kazu fetched or something. Sorry guys, we just had a monkey run through.
Minor
the roof and
altercation with a
sling poop at us. Sailor swearing monkey. Alright, so we're in Kazu's turn. There is 2 more turns before the... Before the visions resolves. Kazu attacks with the goblin. Yeah, so...
I'm going to keep this on track right now. Storm count's currently 2.
Okay. That certainly could be a thing.
Yes. Because I think Kazu's looking at his hand now, figuring that out.
One mana remands are strong.
Because I see at least a ritual in Kazu's hand.
Yeah, and he already has, he basically has a free 2 storm count off of that exchange.
Yep.
And he's going to have 4 lands plus the Electromancer, and he's got almost a full grip.
3 lands.
3 lands, yeah, because 1 is tapped.
And so...
Yeah, it looks like here's a ritual.
And...
Alright, so Storm is 3.
Storm is 3. It looks like he went to 1 blue, 1 red.
Yep.
Use the red, play another ritual, go up to 3 red.
Storm is 4. Storm is 5.
Go up to 5 red.
Yep. You might just have the easy mode here. Alright, Storm is 6 with the grape shot, so that's going to take Ryan.
4 red. He's going to remand his grape shot on the sack.
Uh-huh. Some tacos appeared on the table. Alright, so it looks like 1 grape shot has resolved. Ryan is down to 9.
And he's going to play the grape shot again, remand it, and kill him.
And that's the match. Thanks for watching Friday Night Magic at Four Horsemen, everybody.
Let's go, Storm.
All right. So before we close off for the night, we just want to go quickly over some of the more of the events that we have going on. Next week we do have our Pauper F&M at 6 o'clock. That's commons only. We are using the Magic Online ban list. If we have a good turnout for that, like we did for our Chaos draft this evening, we will be doing that again. And even if we don't, we'll probably try it again anyway. And don't forget, at the end of August, we do have our Eternal Festival event coming up. It's 3 days of Eternal Magic, Legacy, Modern, Vintage, No Ban List Modern, lots of awesome, awesome things. So stay tuned for more great Magic events here at Four Horsemen. Check out our F&M stream next week, and be sure to check out our other locations in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, and Clarksburg, West Virginia. Of course, we are broadcasting from our Morgantown, West Virginia store. One more time, I'm Ryan.
I'm Wyatt.
Thank you for watching.